Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today we're checking out a 2023 Dodge Hornet in the GT trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 225/55 Goodyear tires wrapped around 18-inch alloy wheels with a gloss dark gray finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and solid rotors in the back. The name of this color is 8-Ball, which is basically a gloss black. And it's a pretty cool name for a gloss black vehicle. Now, considering it's black and all the accents are black, kind of hides some of the features that the vehicle has. So here on the hood, it has these functional vents looking pretty nice, but then it has these non-functional vents right in here, so there's no airflow there. Now the center part does have the radar adaptive cruise control sensor here, lots of ventilation there in the center part. But some of the design just kind of blends in because of the color. So hopefully you'll be able to see how good it looks. I mean, it is a good looking vehicle when you see it in other colors, but the black just kind of blends it in too much for me anyway. Now, something to consider that when you're comparing this to other vehicles, you may overlook that this is an all-wheel drive standard vehicle. And it has a lot of horsepower and performance for this type of compact SUV. So that's something you want to consider in the factors regarding the price and just comparing it with other vehicles. Because it's easy to overlook that it's all-wheel drive, and it's easy to just kind of compare it to other like compact crossovers and not really take into consideration as how powerful this vehicle is and how fun to drive it is, and all-wheel drive. That's a big factor there. The headlights are a multi-reflector headlight system, LED, and I will have a night video so you can check it out, see what it looks like, the actual vehicle looks like, and also how it performs at nighttime as far as road visibility, interior lights, that kind of thing. Looking at the profile, it does actually have some flat black going around each wheel well and the base of the doors as well, and here continuing out the back. And the rest of it is the gloss black handles, upper portion of the side mirror. Even the pillar right in here is a gloss black, which is nice because that way it kind of solidifies the glass, especially if you have it tinted. This is what the key looks like. It is basically a regular Dodge key. I was kind of surprised because this is basically an Italian vehicle, so I was surprised they didn't use an Italian key, but they just kind of used the regular Dodge key here. It has a lock, unlock, the ability to release the trunk, and a panic button. Let's press the panic button here. Okay, so it's a decent horn, sounds like a Dodge. But it's a full proximity key, so you can use the vehicle here. As long as you have the key on the outside of the vehicle, you can lock the doors by pressing this button, unlock it by simply putting your hands behind the handle. It'll sense the key on the outside of the door, unlock the doors, and allow you access to the vehicle. It also has a physical key location here on the driver's side only. Now the doors go all the way down to the bottom of the vehicle, and it's sealed up to kind of keep that threshold area cleaner. The inside of the doors, once again, all black interior here. Now it has kind of semi-soft material, injection molded. This is kind of like a vinyl type material here. It's all soft touch. Same thing with the armrest, which is kind of rubbery soft. It does have the red contrast stitching on the French double stitch design. Little storage pocket here is hard plastic, and then this has a little rubber area down the mat at the bottom for this handle, also serves as a pocket. Then you have the larger bottle holder at the bottom, and this is all hard touch down at the bottom. There's a threshold area, manually adjusted seats here on the passenger side. It does have a height adjustment though. These are the type of the seats, they don't kind of grab you like a suede or something, so you can kind of slide in and get in position easier. And so yeah, these are really nice. I like the way they look, and I like the comfort of them. Pretty good amount of legroom here on the passenger side. It does have some tapering, actually on both sides, and I'll show you that when we get to the other side. But you can see right in here, kind of limits your legroom, but then it expands out and it's quite wide here in the middle. This area does kind of get in the way of your legs sometimes, especially on the driver's side. This is a hard touch plastic here at the bottom, non-locking glove compartment, smooth plastic on the inside. Pretty good size though. And when you have more of that simulated leather with the red stitching, and then this is a rubbery soft non-reflective dash here. Lots of headroom and everything going in and out of the front door. And the swing of the door is nice here in the front. The back door, the swing of the door is decent, but you can see it has quite a bit less room here getting it in and out there at the bottom. Plenty of room there at the top though. The inside of the door here in the back is a little bit different, but it maintains the same styling. It does have the pocket there, contrast stitching, little bottle holder, little tiny threshold there, and this is where it's kind of tight if the front seat's back enough for me to sit in anyway. It's kind of an issue as far as just being tight. Now it does have the pockets on the back of both front seats, cup holders, and armrest. It does have a pass-through as well. The seat attachments here for the car seats are right here, easy to get to. It's basically a bench seat back here. And the seats do fold down to add to your cargo space. Now you can see the floorboard is way down in there. They try to give you as much leg room as possible this way, since we're limited this way. So it does help out. Now if you reposition the seats more forward, you can have a more adult-friendly seating position, I guess. Does have a hump there in the center and a USB-C and regular USB charge ports there. Fuel doors here on the passenger side, and it locks with the vehicle, and it has a capless design. Taking a look at the back of the vehicle, it has a gloss black shark fin antenna right there. Third brake light is in the top of the glass in that little spoiler area. And it has a rear wiper. And there's a few things I want to talk about when we get to the controls for the rear wiper. But just keep that in mind. Now the taillights are really awesome. LED taillights, and it is a red turn signal, but they have like this kind of three-dimensional effect, and they look really good. You got to check out my night video. Now the badging is gloss black, so it kind of blends in here. Can't really see it all that great. There's the GT, and then you have the Hornet name on the other side. The backup camera for a Dodge, this kind of gives it away that it's not a Dodge 100%, is that the backup cameras down here offset, unlike other Dodge products, which have it in a better position in my opinion. Now it has the parking sensors across the back, integrated into the bumper. See the exhaust is well hidden. Now you can release the trunk with the key, or you press the button. So basically it does the same thing. So when I press that button, it just kind of releases it, and then you lift it up manually. You can see it has hard plastic on the underside there. If you have all the seats occupied with passengers, this will be your cargo space. And pretty decent. You can take this shade out to add to the height of the cargo area if you want to. It does have lights on both sides, which is nice. Has a little bag holder here. You can also put a net pocket or something back there as well. It does have tie downs. 12-volt power supply, which is switched with the ignition, so it's not connected to the battery. So it only turns on when the vehicle is turned on. Basically, that's what that little key means. Now you notice everything's carpeted. Most everything's carpeted, which is nice. This floor lifts up and has a little bit of additional cargo space under here. But you lift it up and you can see these little bumps right here. And once you get past that, it holds it for you. So that's pretty neat. Now it has a tire inflator kit. You can get a spare tire and put it back here if you wanted to. But this one comes with a tire inflator kit and additional space down here. Now if you wanted to, you can drop it down at the bottom and increase your cargo height. So this would be handy as well. If you don't want anything under the floor as much, then you can utilize this space like this, which is handy. Folding the seats down, it's a 60-40 split. You also have the pass-through there in the center, but you can fold down one seat or the other, so the smaller side or the larger side, and add to your cargo space while still maintaining passenger space, or you can fold it both down, take the shade out, and have a huge wide open area back here. Starting it up, as long as you have the key inside the vehicle, just press and hold the brake and press this button right here. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Now the floor mat snaps in place so it doesn't slide around on you. There's the accelerator, brake pedal, and here's the footrest. Now you can see it kind of tapers a little bit here, and it's a little bit from the bottom of the floor up. It's a little bit too small for my big feet, so it's a little bit of an issue when I first got in. And I'll talk about this a little bit more when I get in, but this area right here kind of gets in the way as well. So depending on, you know, how big you are, how tall you are, it should be okay for most people, but you definitely want to sit in it and take it for a test drive, of course, and see if it's right for you. Let's take a look under the hood. The latch for the hood is actually yellow, so you can see it here, right here in the very center. Move it to the left, lift up on the hood, which is very light for one thing, but it also stays up for you. So it has the supports there that hold the hood for you. So that's nice, very easy. So you can see there's the latch there. Okay, so it has the insulation under the hood, and it has some seals around the outside. It's for a relatively quiet vehicle and smooth driving. Not a huge amount of engine noise. Now this is a turbocharged engine. As you can see it right there on the top, it says, hey, it is a turbo. And so that's why we have all this heat shielding here in the front. So the heat shielding is for the turbocharger that runs off the exhaust, and then the intake is there in the back. And this is an all-wheel drive vehicle, but it's oriented like a front-wheel drive with the front of the engine here, back of the engine there, and then the transmission down there. So there's the battery, that's easy to get to. Now this vehicle is powered by what they call a Hurricane 4 2.0 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. Now this is an all-wheel drive vehicle, and it puts out 268 horsepower with premium fuel and 295 pound-feet of torque. Now that, and you can feel it. It's actually not just on paper. You can actually feel the horsepower. Now this is paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission. It's the ZF 9-speed transmission, which feels a little bit different than, you know, what a lot of people are used to, but it does shift really fast. Now this does have the blind spot detection system and the indicators here on the side mirror and that little triangle there. Now the inside of the driver's side door, slightly different, that it has, instead of that little pocket here in the front, it has the adjustments for the side mirrors as well as power folding them. Power windows are right here, and it's one touch up and down. So front ones are like so, back ones are like that. See how far it goes down, almost all the way down. And then adjust to the side mirrors, just pick a side and adjust it with this little pad. You also have the ability to power fold the side mirrors, but also you can have it set to where it automatically power folds. Like right now, they're actually power folded down. Manually adjust the seats just like the passenger side, but it does have a height adjustment as well. Like I said, these are really nice. I like the surface of the seat. I like the way you can slide in and out, get comfortable, and it's not grabby or anything. To the left of the steering column, it does have the headlight switch here. So it has the automatic parking and headlights on. You can also toggle on and off right here, the daytime running lights. And then the dimmer switch for the interior gauges is here. Now as a tilt and telescoping steering column, but there's a little bit less articulation than I would like. And I'll show you that in a second. I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and I have the driver's seat all the way back and all the way down to give you an idea of the potential legroom here. And right in here seems to get in the way for me anyways, right there where my knee hits that hard plastic. Also the footrest, it just kind of runs out of room there in my toe area. So I got size 12 shoes on, and it just kind of, something up there is getting in the way. So just something to consider there. It's kind of like for smaller feet, I suppose. The steering wheel has the flat bottom here, and it has like a leather wrapping. It's not like round. It has like some corners to it, I guess you can say, and it's more round here at the top, but down here on the sides and stuff, it has like these kind of edges, and it's a very hard steering wheel. So depending on how hard you grip the steering wheel, it might kind of dig into your hands a little bit, kind of put some pressure. So if it's a little bit softer, it'd be better, but it does look really nice. It's quite a bit different from a regular Dodge vehicle. It doesn't have the buttons on the back. Really miss that feature. Really enjoy getting into a Dodge and being able to use that for the radio. It's so convenient. But the way this is these kind of thinner areas here with the volume here and the voice recognition and also phone button there. This scroll wheel and that button corresponds with the screen. We'll get to that in a second. It does have the sport mode here and then the cruise control. So once you turn it on, you can set, resume, cancel, all that stuff, set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. There's no paddle shifters or anything like that. It does have the windshield wiper control here, and I mentioned that the windshield wiper in the rear is kind of interesting because it is a automatic rain sensing windshield wiper, but you can't turn that off. So when you go through a car wash or something like that, it's like constantly going. So to manually turn it on, you pull it down and it turns it on. Pull it down again, turn it off. And then that's it. That's all, the only control you have for the rear wiper. And then the rain sensing part just stays on all the time. I've tried to turn it off in the here on the screen and the settings and all that stuff. It turns off the front but not the back. So something to consider. Here on the left side is a turn signal, but you also have the headlight dimmer switch and the button on the end to turn on or off the lane keep assist. This actually does have a button here on the end. We'll get to that in a second because it corresponds with the screen here. So the screen is less, it has less information than the normal Dodge vehicle. It has a digital speedometer. There's a full digital display, and so maybe some of the higher trims will have more, but right now it's showing this message, and it turns on every single time. The oil change has been done and the service has been done, but for whatever reason, this cannot be cleared. It just constantly pops up. You see that message there? And what I do is I press and hold that, and it makes it go away temporarily until I restart the vehicle. So that's one thing. So you can see it has like this, there's a speedometer gauge, and you notice it just doesn't show any numbers on it until the needle goes up high enough. Same thing with the RPM tachometer. Now it has a digital speedometer there in the center, and it has the engine coolant temperature, fuel gauge with the range there as well, and outside temperature, odometer, all that stuff. So it's pretty normal as far as the gauge cluster, as far as, you know, the key information that you need. Now pressing the button here, this button, we can kind of cycle through and get different views here, like that and that, more minimalistic there, and it goes back to the original. So you can see the RPMs. Go to the next one, RPMs. It's pretty neat the way it looks. Now, this pages button and the scroll up and down, let's go ahead and hit that, hit the pages button. And now all it does is give us access to scroll the middle. So we get more information there in the middle and change the view. And that's it. Basically, it's just a few views here. So this one would be your performance as far as your miles per gallon and stuff like that. This would be your driver assist, showing you the status of the cruise control and lane keep assist, and stored messages will show up there. Now you notice I cleared that message here, but it's not showing up in the stored messages, so I'm not sure what's going on there. And whatever one you rest on, it'll stay there until you make a different selection. So I prefer the digital speedometer. Okay, so here's the touchscreen, and it is the new Uconnect system, which seems to be a little bit less user-friendly in my opinion sometimes. Now it has the buttons here on the side. There's the home, there's the media.
Welcome to Sirius XM. It's all you'll ever need to hear everything you want.
Let me turn that down. Comfort, which is your climate control. your phone. Once you pair it, you have access to all that stuff, and then the vehicle, and then you have different tabs within each one. So the home, you can slide through, and you have different widgets, you have different icons, that kind of stuff, so you can set it up sort of like a cell phone, where you have the different icons and different widgets here. You can add pages as well. You can also swipe from the top, get more information here. So shortcuts. Also, when you scroll down here, you can go into the settings using that. Clock settings, anyway. You see the little clock settings. It has the date and everything as well.
Welcome to Sirius XM. It's all you'll ever need to hear everything you want.
Always wants to play that. I got the volume all the way down, but it keeps popping that up for some reason. All right, comfort. You can sync your temperature, fan speed, where you want the air to blow here on the screen as well, which is all good. So yeah, and right here in the vehicle, you have my car, trip, performance, and you have different display options, different gauges. Next one is controls, which is right now is just turn off the screen or a rear view camera, which you can see even without putting in reverse, which is nice. And then you have all your settings here as well. Display. Kind of give you an idea of what's in there anyway. You can also go to all the, right here, this little, get that out of the way, hit that again. There we go. So there's your favorites, your recent, and categories. All the different icons here that you can make selections for and put it into your shortcuts here if you want to. So that's kind of a quick rundown of the screen. It looks good. The clarity of the screen is nice. The size of the screen is decent, and you know, for the most of the things that you go into, it is relatively easy to get to and use. You do have some redundancy as far as buttons. Fan speed, temperature, and all that stuff is down here as well. You notice there's no volume button. Well, actually, I'll show you how to do that in a second. It has the volume on the steering wheel. As there's a start button. There's the turn off the auto start stop feature right there. 12 volt power supply, USB-C and USB-A. Has a little place to put your cell phone here as well. There's the shifter. There's your volume knob. It's basically just a roller, but it's kind of smooth. It's not like grippy, so it's real easy to accidentally press it, and that's what mutes the audio or turns off the radio. So you kind of have to press down on it in order to get a grip on it, but then you can accidentally press it too hard and turn it off. So if that was rubberized, that would be a little bit easier to use, since you're dealing with that instead of a knob that you can actually get a grip on. There's the electronic parking brake. You lift it up to engage it. It engages the rear wheels. Hold the brake and push it down to release it. And there's the shifter. Pretty straightforward. There's reverse, parking sensors, and backup cameras now active. And it does have the active guidelines as well. The clarity and everything of the camera looks great. The position is a little bit off in my opinion, but let me turn the brightness. Brightness is too high, because this is a really good clear screen, and it looks so good. I don't want the camera to screw up the view here, but yeah, my camera to screw up the actual view of this, because this is really nice. I'm impressed with the clarity of that backup camera. All right, so neutral, drive. Now I mentioned it didn't have paddle shifters, but you can change the 9 gear ratios by moving it to the left and bumping it like a ratchet shifter if you want to have manual control over each shift, or just to need downshift, that kind of thing, going downhill. You might need to do that. There's the cup holders. Now they're in there recessed quite a ways. So if you have a short cup, it's a little bit of a hassle, kind of interesting choice there. But it does have little rubber bumps here on the side, so it kind of stabilizes the bottle or whatever you put in there, which is good. And it's open in the center, so you can utilize that space for more than just cups or a handle for a mug, that kind of thing. There's the little tiny armrest, and it's kind of hard, rubbery soft. It feels like you're putting your arm on like a tire or something. It's not super cushy soft, and it does move forward and back, so you can adjust it a little bit there. and this lifts up, and there's a little tiny peek hole here and a storage compartment. And it's smooth as plastic on the inside, and there's nothing really to say other than you're going to put stuff in there, and it's going to be, might be a little hard to see it because there's no light or anything. Might be hard to get stuff in and out of this compartment because you kind of have to reach your arm over this and then reach your arm down, so dislocate your shoulder trying to get in there. So it's something that you want to take into consideration. Don't put stuff that in there that you need to quick access to, that kind of thing. Rear view mirror has a manual day and night mode. Tap lights are here. You see a little reading light here, little reading light here, not very bright. Turn on all the interior lights by pressing that button. And then you can have them turn on with the door using that feature. You can also have the interior separate lights there in the back on, separate from the rest of the lights, which is pretty neat. And then you have roadside assistance. Here's a little ambient light that kind of shines in the center of the vehicle, which is handy. The visor has, it's like a vinyl type black material, and it has clips on both sides of the mirror, which is pretty cool. It has a mirror with a little light. HomeLink garage door opener controls are here, and it does slide out like so. Passenger one is similar, it doesn't have the clips though, and the HomeLink, of course. Looking at the visibility back here, the pillars are wide back there, so they kind of get in the way. They're actually wide here on the side and in the front. The front pillars are kind of thick, so something to consider. But the visibility is not all that great, especially when you take into account the headrests that get in the way. So something to consider. You can see there's just massive areas in which it's just blocked. Now, it's similar to the Challenger, where you just got to get used to it, you know. But it does have the parking sensors, the blind spot detection system, rear cross traffic alert, backup camera, all that technology to help you out anyway. But something to consider when you're getting this vehicle or considering this vehicle. The way this steering wheel adjusts, this is the tilt, and that's the telescoping. Now for me, I would prefer it to come down a little bit more, but that's as far down as it goes. It's like it's a little bit too high up for me. And also it could come out a little bit more. So like say with my legroom, it seems to be a little bit disconnected with my legroom, but it's okay. I mean, I can drive. But what I tend to do is kind of hold the steering wheel down here, which is less comfortable than the more rounded part there at the top. So, you know, something to consider, that when you get in the vehicle, make sure you can position it right and everything. If you're taking it for a test drive, just kind of play around with that. Now, when you hit the sport mode button, it pops up over here, just kind of let you know that it's on. And then you hit it again, it turns off. So it just gives you some visual indicators there, whether it's on or off when you hit the button. And it's kind of neat to have it right there. It's kind of sporty, neat, like a little boost button or whatever. But the vehicle's fast without even going into sport mode. It's fine. It's great. It's fun to drive. For this type of vehicle, a lot of these compact SUVs, they have this little tiny engine, and they even add a turbocharger and stuff, but they just seem to be just basic transportation type vehicles. They're not really that fun to drive, and some of them are just borderline annoyingly slow. This one doesn't have that problem. This one is fast and fun. And you know, there's a little quirks here and there, that like the turn signal returns to the center. It doesn't stay down or stay up. So when it doesn't cancel, it's easier to not notice, you know, that kind of thing. So I prefer, you know, there's little disconnects and preferences here and there overall. Especially when I'm getting into a Dodge, I think I'm getting into a Dodge, right? So it doesn't have the buttons on the back of the steering wheel. It doesn't have the camera that's centered in a good position. There's just a few things that are non-Dodge, you know, that I look forward to when I get in Dodge, and it's not there. So, so it's a little disappointing. But as far as the fun and the smoothness and the driving experience is really good. With that 9-speed, it has a really good shift speed. Like, it goes from one gear to the next, like, so fast. It's impressive. The acceleration, and it doesn't have like a phony engine noise or anything. It's just a nice experience. The acceleration and just the power that you have at hand is really nice. So that acceleration was using sport mode, so we'll turn that off and just experience the normal driving experience here. And I do have the air conditioner on because it's super hot today. It's showing 100 on the exterior temperature here, but it's just really hot. So, and also I'm in a black vehicle, so I have to have the air conditioner on. So there's a little bit of noise from that, and you'll hear a little tiny bit of road noise. But really, this is a very quiet vehicle. For me, I mean, for my taste, so some people are like super sensitive as far as noises, but this one is fine. Now you can hear the engine. But it doesn't sound like the engine's gonna jump out of the car trying to accelerate, you know? It just has a nice smooth rev. Let's go ahead and turn the cruise control on. We'll go ahead and set that. Sound like some kind of road noise there from something on the road. But yeah, this is a smooth road. So, and this is not hilly or anything like that. Fairly flat, smooth, nice, comfortable road to drive on. And so this gives you an idea. Uh-oh, I'm hearing something. That's not on the road either. I have to check on that. But yeah, it's just kind of cruising around town. This is more like a, city, metropolitan, suburbs car. I can see where you could drive it on the highway and just be like an all-around decent car for a lot of people, because it has room for, you can put car seats in the back, you can put smaller passengers in the back, and you have decent cargo space. It's fun to drive. It's smooth and quiet. It gets decent gas mileage. And if you like the looks and everything, then this is pretty good. Considering it's all-wheel drive, and it's not slow, that's a big plus in this segment, in this type of vehicle. I try not to focus too much on segments too much, because it's interesting how people buy vehicles, but it's quite a bit different than the manufacturers like to sell the vehicles. But in this type of vehicle, this one stands out with the acceleration and the fun to drive type stuff. Okay, so we're going 67 right now, and RPMs are just a little bit over 2,000, 2,100. somewhere in there. And fairly smooth ride. Smooth and comfortable. That's the way I like it. And quiet. A little bit of road noise. This road's a little rough, so there's a little bit of road noise. So it depends on what surface you drive on. Here's some bumpy roads right in here, and even with some bumps in the road, it's reasonable as far as the noise level. So like say if I was playing the radio or something, I wouldn't notice any of this noise. Now the camera might amplify some of the noise, so but to me it's pretty smooth and quiet considering the conditions that I've been driving it on.